disruptors, and welcome back to another empowering episode of Mindset Mastery Moments, where we challenge limiting beliefs, disrupt old patterns, and elevate our mindset to match magnitude of our purpose. Today, we are unlocking career elevation and a proven framework that helps you prepare with purpose, act with intention, and stand out with impact. As you can see, if you're watching us by video, we have another special guest in studio with us. If you've ever felt stuck, overlooked, or just ready to level up, you're in the right place today. Our guest today is a powerhouse in the leadership space, Mr. Rutherford Pascal. He is a certified John Maxwell leadership coach, trainer, speaker. Yes, he is my brother. We've got JMT DNA in the building once again. And you all know when I have my JMT brothers and sisters on the mic and in the studio, we definitely go deep and we come right back up and give you the breakthrough. As the founder of Glass Walls Leadership and author of a powerful new book that we're going to talk about today, the PID system, P.I.D. system. He equips professionals to rise above the noise and lead with clarity, confidence, and courage. With a distinguished track record as a Gen's Me Cenophi, and he's going to tell me what all this is, right, guys? We can't wait. And a legacy of mentorship. Rutherford's insights are shaking up boardrooms, careers, and obviously, mindsets. Today, Rutherford, we are so happy to have you on Mindset Master Moments. A warm welcome from all of us. Tell us who you are, what you do, and exactly why you do it.
Wow, that was fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So I think you did a really good job of explaining who I am. I've worked for 3 Fortune 100 pharmaceutical companies in the biotech pharmaceutical space. Where
that is why I struggled on that word. Spotify and Genzime.
Yeah, Genzyme and
Genzyme. See,
listen, it's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of other more difficult words, so I will not. That'll be the biggest test you have tonight.
Okay, I'm staying with mindset. I'll do the brain.
There you go. So, and in those, so I spent 35 years with those companies, really about growing leaders and growing people. And that's my mission. That's my passion. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm put on this earth to do is to help people grow.
Yes.
The leadership. And obviously with being a John Maxwell trained, and I will tell you this about John. Why I chose John is because every single book, every single thought that came out, it was, like perfect. It's exactly how I thought, exactly how I should think. He helped me think differently. He's helped a lot of us. So as you said, we will talk a little bit about John Maxwell. Probably he'll come out, maybe not directly, but indirectly for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. So thank you for sharing that with us. But we're definitely here for the scoop, right?
Sure.
Let's dive into what's been fueling you the last while. Your brand new book.
Yeah.
But your book is newly published, but it's not a new book because you've been teaching this.
Yes.
And using the system, the PID system that you created. What inspired you to create the PID system?
Well,
what is the PID system?
So it's interesting. PID stands for preparation, intentionality, and differentiation. And so what happened was, when I was coaching people, I would talk to them about how to grow their career, how to move up, what to do, little things. And when I would talk to them, they would say, everyone said around the same thing. Go, oh, that's really simple. Oh, I could do that. Oh, that's easy. And so it happened so often. I said, what when I talk about and to elevate yourself from the sea of sameness, is these things are very small things that I'm asking you to do. And really importantly is I'm asking you to do it in your zone of genius. So basically it's stuff that you love. It's areas that you can flourish in, and you'll be successful, and you don't mind doing a little bit extra. And when I say a little bit extra, it's small. So I'll give you an example. So last summer, I was working with this leader at a Fortune 5 company, very big company. And he was, as is said, he was in the people pile, which you've heard said before. He was in the people pile of leaders, right? So he was just not being noticed at all. He was just stuck there. And I asked him to do two small things to elevate his team, and bring awareness to his leader. He did this for 2 months. I talked to him in June. By August, this big company gave him the biggest project that they had. And remember, he was not noticed. He was invisible for a long time. That's why we talked.
Yeah.
And then you go up 3 months. He has a thought to how to get a pilot project. So he requests a pilot project. They said yes to his project. This project will get him to move 2 more spots within the organization. And literally, what it took was something that took him 10 minutes a week. Yeah, these things are not huge things to do. They just take intentionality, which is that second letter, that intentionality. You got to prepare, and you got to be intentional. And because of that, you differentiate. Okay. So let me go into a little bit about more of those things. So everybody knows preparation is important. The question is, do you prepare to the ultimate, right? So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about from people in companies, corporations, associations, anything like that. If you're on a team in these companies and you have meetings, regular meetings, and they give you an agenda for the meeting, they typically give you an agenda of what's happening. You know, what do people mostly do when they get an agenda? They do nothing. They just they say, okay, we're going to talk about that, and they go down to the next email. I tell people, no, don't do that. Of the agenda items, pick one agenda item that you want to add greater insights to, right? And then, so you might have to do a little bit of preparation as far as finding out more, where you can add value. And then in the meeting, you're adding value to that one topic in a deep way, right? And I want you to think about this, is if they do this every meeting, so that's every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever the meeting is, on a consistent basis, what do you think is going to happen? Right? Their stock, their value is going to escalate, not only with the leader, but with the colleagues. The other really, really important point I have to make about this, when they pick a topic that they're going to talk about, the topic has to encompass everybody in the group. It has to make everybody better, everybody smarter, everybody it has to affect everybody's business. It can't just affect me.
Right.
If that happens, then then it's look at me, loudest voice in the room, blah, blah, blah. That's not what we want. We want to elevate the company. We want to elevate the customer, patients, clients, whatever you call them. And by doing that, you elevate yourself, right?
Exactly.
That's huge with the preparation. That's really the preparation part. Okay.
Gotcha.
All
Wow.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. Let's talk a little bit about why the system is so transformative.
Sure. Sure. It's transformative for a couple of reasons because you're in your zone of genius.
Mm-hmm.
It's transformative because it's small,
Mm-hmm.
it's tiny, and it's transformative because you're not trying to, like I mentioned before, be the loudest voice in the room. You're trying to help the company or the organization,
Mm.
whatever you're in. So if your focus is outward,
Yeah.
that's the thing that you, because a lot of times we say, well, I want to be promoted, or I need more money, or
Mm-hmm.
I am not seen, so I'm going to be seen. So what happens is you do these things that don't add value to yourself. You just,
Right.
right? So
Right.
all these things I'm talking about absolutely adds value to yourself.
Yeah.
And so the goal of all this is I want to make people irreplaceable.
Mm.
Right? So if you do this on a regular basis consistently, people are going to say, "Hey, listen, we have to downsize by 10%, but Bill, we are not getting rid of Bill at all because that person he adds so much value to the organization. We'll move him.
Right.
We'll
Space
create
to
a
make
role."
sure we keep it.
Yes, yes. And the reason I know this because this stuff happened to me, right?
Mm.
Right? And when I was people would ask me why I got promoted 8 times in my career. Right. Right. So what did I do different? Value.
Yeah.
So I called in on pharmaceutical companies. I called on physicians, and I'll tell you what happened. I got transferred to the Seattle territory, and when I was in Seattle territory, every physician I met, the first time I told him and her the same thing. I said, "Dr. Whyte, I'm Rutherford. I'm representing Product X. I'm going to be in here every 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm going to tell you here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm always going to bring value when I come in your office. I'm never going to just walk in here and waste your time. If I ever waste your time, even a second of your time, please do me a favor. Kick me out and never let me back in." So I said that statement to every physician.
Wow.
Right. And so because I needed to live that up. I wanted to add value to when I walk in. If I'm not adding value to the physician, the staff, the patients that are coming in, I'm wasting their time, and I don't want.
Absolutely.
I never want to.
I agree.
So that's me adding value to the staff, the office, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then when I became a first line leader, I had to add value to the 10 people that were reporting to me.
Right.
So I tried to the number one thing, in for me was this 3-letter word was KYP. Know your people.
Know your people.
KYP.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, know your people. So if you know your people well, you can lead them well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And because you know how to lead, everything about them. You know how to add value to them.
Right.
How to add value to them. Because so some people do not want to be recognized publicly.
Mm.
They don't, right?
Right.
So you actually embarrass them, and it didn't they don't like it. So you have to know your people. You have to know what drives them, right? You have to know why do you do your job? Why do you do what you do?
Right.
And the why, and then because of that, you can add greater value to them and help them grow their career if they want to just be do a great job in the position they're in,
Exactly.
or if you can help them get to the next level, next role, whatever. So the KYP is another thing that's extremely important in what we do in this PI. It's part of the PID system. It's embedded in there because you have to know your customers. You have to know everything about the people. So the preparation.
Know your people.
Know your people, right? So, and you think about the second thing is intentional. You know what intentionality is. You have to do things with purpose.
Yes, you have to.
You can't just do things willy-nilly, wake up and just like, oh, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I think I'm going to do this. And that doesn't work. That people are, you have to be intentional about what you do, how you do it, because that's, people talk about building a brand, right? A personal brand. You've heard of that, right? People want to do that. They want to build a brand. You build that with intentionality.
Yes, exactly.
You grow that. So, and then the last letter D is differentiation. And differentiation is really important. It's where instead of leaning into what you're great at, it's doubling down. Right? Because it's saying, hey, this is my strength. This is my towering strength. And I'm going to do 80% more of this. People are going to know me for this, right? And if they know me for X, Y, or Z, anytime something like that happens, I'm going to be the go-to person for whatever
to solve that problem. Yeah,
right. And it's great because it's what you like. It's what you love, so it'll be fine. So that's what makes it transformational, is because it's easy. It makes sense, and literally every single person, I shouldn't say this, majority of the people that have been hired, promoted, have all three letters have been used to get them promoted. They haven't people haven't used those letters, but if you don't prepare well, you're not going to get promoted. If you're not intentional in some way, shape, matter, form, and if you don't differentiate yourself, if you're just part of everything else. So I just put those three things together, and no one else has, and that's what makes it interesting.
A holistic, transformative system. I love it.
Yes,
I love it. Thank you. That's a great perspective, and like you said, it's straightforward. It's like we all soon as you say it, we can see that no matter, it's almost anything that we're really striving for.
Yes.
Right? If we can position our minds in that space of pitting, we'll make a word, pitting, we're going to achieve it, right? Yeah. So one of the things that stood out to me in your book is how you connected daily mental practices to long-term success. How does mindset play into preparation?
So nothing is accomplished great. Nothing great is accomplished without this belief in what you're doing, in the mindset that you're going to have. So there's a lot of things I can tell you about. So like an easy thing is you think about the most important meeting you're going to have today, most important encounter you're going to have today. So you prepare for that first thing in the morning. You get your brain, you get your mindset focused on having a great day, having a great meeting, doing the things. If you have a routine, one of my colleagues, she would, I always knew when things were really important because she would wear red lipstick. She would have a special, she had a routine. She goes, it's on.
It's on. Yeah, yeah.
And everybody needs that. Everybody's got to have something that, like to
that
trigger.
signals I'm in the battle mode or I'm in I'm
Yes.
ready. I'm in the ring, right?
Yep. That's exactly. And so it's mindset. You're getting your mind ready
to get in the ring
to have a great day, right? So here the thing I'll say to you also about that is, I believe that people have to have an irrational belief in what they're doing.
Yes.
Not rational.
It has to be irrational. I get it. You said it, and I'm like, that's a good way of putting that. Yeah.
You can. If you think rationally, you'll get mediocre results.
Always.
Right. If you think about the great things that have been invented, listen, Steve Jobs told people in the 1970s that people were going to have a computer in their hands that was more powerful than Apollo 11. Guess what? That's right. That's right. Right.
You got the iPhone,
and it's a phone. And when he said that, do you think people thought he was? Everybody's
like, yeah, right.
You're
on what episode of the Jetsons?
Exactly. I think I saw that on the Jetsons.
I mean, anything we have is on the Jetsons. The thing I'm waiting on is to step out of my doorway and into a train. That'll be the day. When Jetsons is really, I'm going to be on cloud 9 about my Jetson lifestyle, because man, they got around so quickly, especially, we both live here in the Phoenix area. Traffic, so I'm ready for them to.
You should you got to name your dog Elroy. Remember his dog's name was
Elroy. That's the name of
See?
Yes. Yeah. Elroy would go shoo, and that was it. Back home already.
That's funny.
Love it.
Yeah, so you have to have this
mental
unwavering
preparedness and practice. Yeah.
So, and you have to believe that the meeting is going to go well, and you have to picture every part of that meeting to be successful. And if there's any, thing you have to overcome, you have to think about. So that's all the mental preparation, the mental intention, things you have to do intentional for that day. So mindset is critical.
Mm-hmm.
Is critical to achieving these goals. You won't get anywhere without this positive growth mindset.
Yes.
And really just having this belief that things are going to happen in a big way. So you know of so many stories of mindset. You know the Jim Carrey story. You know who Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey, the actor.
Yes.
So you know his story.
There's so many. Which one?
So Jim Carrey wrote a check for $20 million. I think $20 million, and he wrote it, and he wrote it, and he wrote the date that on this. It was a check, and he kept it with him. That this is people that was going to be check was going to be given to him on this date, and he wrote up, I think, Hollywood Hills, thinking about it, constantly thinking about that $20 million, and I think it was the day before that happened, he got listed, he got booked for a $20 million lead in a movie.
Wow. Manifestation.
He manifested.
Mind leads everything. Our thoughts create our results. Mm-hmm. Period.
Yep. So there's no difference when you're in front of it, when you're presenting to a team, when you're presenting to a customer, when you're on a podcast, right? There's no difference. You have to think. You have to believe that the things that you are saying, the things that you are doing are going to help this customer, this patient, this company, this audience in a big way. You have to believe that. And you have to get your mind to believe that. So that daily mental intake gets you ready to walk out that door like powerfully, and there's no negative thoughts that are happening. There's no way that you're not going to have a great day. And and that's what you have to, that's what the daily mental intake does.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Wow. And so let's talk about something you speak a lot about. And you talk about standing out in a sea of sameness.
Yes.
One of the big things for me, I guess I just naturally have a gift of standing out without trying.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times when I'm only in a certain space, and this is the only set of things that you are allowed to be or do or say or perform, like, for example, in a competition. And so I find that you say that professionals struggle to create differentiation. They struggle to be in a space of differentiation. How can a professional or our listeners right now change that starting today? If they were going to make that change to where they could be in differentiation, and just stand out, how do they do that without being overbearing or being, egocentric, so to speak? Because a lot of people think you have to brag to set yourself apart. You have to be loud and aggressive. You have to take other people out and down. I know that's not what you're talking about. So let's talk about standing out.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. You have to take people out. You have to, the difference. That's the differentiation part of the PID model, right? Is or system. It's really about that zone of genius, which I mentioned before. Is how do you differentiate yourself? It's by finding the small things. So I'll give you an example of a person I hired. Mm-hmm. I hired this person who seemingly was unqualified to work for our division, our company. I had 10 reps at the time that reported to me. And I was in the Northern California area. Northern California was my area of responsibility. He lived in Modesto, if you know that. That's Ernest and Julio Gallo country. That's farm country, rural, mostly rural. Mm-hmm. So, and pharmaceuticals is, typically this tie suit kind of, kind of thing going on. Mm-hmm. And he came from a farming background, so he didn't have the nicest clothes. Right? He didn't have this speech, this gift of gab. You wouldn't pick him for a salesperson that would go in and talk to a physician and staff. And so why in the world would I hire a person like that? The one thing he had, or his curiosity and questioning, was next level. He always wanted to know why, and always wanted to know the truth, always wanted to know how to do things. He always asked questions. And when I found that out, that was a go for me, because I can teach you how to sell. Teaching you how to be inquisitive, curious, not difficult, if not impossible, right? So he had that question. Then he had something that I didn't know. When I hired him, I didn't know he had, which turned out to be his zone of genius. His area of differentiation was follow-up. So he would meet with between 6 to 10 customers a day. Every day he would follow up with an email summarizing the meeting, telling people what he was going to do, what they were going, every day.
Wow.
He did that. So when he started, he wasn't the most talented salesperson at all, right? He was good. He wasn't great. Mm-hmm. But he won his second year in the business. He won. His third year in the business, he came close to winning. His fourth year, he won again, and then he got promoted. this person that the rest of my team said, you're really going to hire him? That's what they told me. And I said, yeah. And once he got on the team, they go, okay, I get it. He's a listener, he's a learner, and what his greatest strength was following up. So that strength of following up and being inquisitive, those two things, he was promoted 3 times since we hired him. So that's small. That wasn't inauthentic. He never had to yell. He just had to be himself, right? And double down on that greatness he already had in him, right?
Yeah.
And I recognize, so it's one of those things, as a leader, like his leader, I didn't know it until one of his customers told me. Like he just did it naturally.
Yeah.
So he didn't think it was a big deal. But when his customer said, I said, because I said, so what do you like about this person? And I go, oh, he follows up so well every day. I go, really? And then I asked somebody else, and they told me the same thing. And then I talked to him. He goes, yeah, this is what I do. And it worked. No one else, by the way, nobody else was doing it at all. Not even sometimes people don't do it as well. There was nobody doing it at all. If they were doing it as an exception, not as the rule. Right? And so, that's the thing, that's a type of thing I'm talking about is what do you do differently than other people? What do you do? If it's not different, another example I can give you is somebody that I mentored, that his greatest skill was blocking and tackling. What I mean by that is he didn't do anything special, nothing.
Right.
What he did was he took the expectations and he mastered the expectations. So there was he was a leader, and there's nobody on his team that didn't know exactly what to do, exactly how to do it, and because of that, he did it better.
Right.
And they achieved more because of that. So his strength was mastering the basics.
Right, exactly.
Right? And you don't have to invent a rocket. You just have to be great at whatever you think that drives the business, drives you, right? So so going back to your statement earlier, I'll say this, the worst thing you can be is the loudest voice in the room if you don't back that up.
Right.
You could be the loudest voice if in fact you can back that up. You can also be the quietest voice if you back it up.
If you back it up.
If you back it up and it's noticed because of how you do it, when you do it, you will also get promoted. You'll also get paid highly. You will also be irreplaceable.
I like that. Wow. I love it. Very profound there at the end. It's if you can back it up. Oh my goodness. So good. So good.
Yeah.
So we're going to do Flip the Script, where we always invite our guests to share a time when they had to flip the script, a pivotal moment when your mindset, Pascal, Rutherford Pascal, you see, I did that all again. When you had to change the outcome by changing your mindset, what was that moment for you?
What's the moment where I had to change my mindset
to achieve something? If you didn't change, it would not happen. And what was that shift, and how did it play out for you?
It's a great question. So here's what I'll say to you. So I will tell you, it was when I realized that I was enough.
That's deep.
Right? So
Yeah.
and this came through interviews. So
Yeah.
I was a second line leader. I was a first line leader going for second line leader positions. And getting to 2, 3, 4 times. I actually don't know how many times I got no.
You lost count.
I didn't count. I didn't count. It was more than 3 or 4. I'll say that.
Right. You stopped
Right?
counting after the third one.
Yeah. So, but what I realized in that, I was trying to fit into what I thought they wanted in that second line leader.
Uh-huh.
So then I said, no. Let me flip. Listen, I'm going to tell them who I am and what they're going to get
Yes,
if they hire
you.
me.
Yeah.
If they're going to hire me. And it didn't matter. I never, because people say, so what kind of a leader is he? What is he like? What is she like? And here's who I am. Here's what I stand for. If you hire me, these are the things that I'm going to focus on. And I said it at the beginning of the interview. Every answer I had laddered up to those look to the 3 things that I told people that I stood for. Yeah. And when I ended with that, and when I sent thank you letters, I also said it. So there was
consistency across the board.
That was and because I wanted them to hire me for me. So I wasn't running away from who I am, who I actually am. And before, why I had to flip the script is before I was trying to fit, into what I thought they needed. Yeah. Which is not the right way to be. Just not the right way. So that's a completely true story. And by the way, because I told you it took me 3, 4, 5 times, whatever, to get to the second one, to get to the third and fourth, one time. It was because of just being really, really comfortable with what I brought to the party. Right? Yes.
Wow. That's really good. Great to hear. So the next question I have for you is, what does success mean to you now, and how has it evolved over time for you? That definition of success.
Success has always meant the same thing to me, and the only thing that evolves is the number of people that are in that equation. Success to me just means helping the person or people in front of me, the person or people that I have an opportunity that are in my ecosystem. I was luckily enough on the last product I had, we were able to help 7 billion patients. 7 billion patients. So 7 billion. So actually, not that many. I take 100 million patients. That was a dollar amount, but it was So 100 million patients, which is spectacular, right? And so for me, it's always about people. So success, what it means to me today, my goal is for the message that I'm giving you about the PID system to really benefit 10 million people in the next 5 years.
Absolutely. Right? I love that.
So it's what I want. And it's not a number that I just picked out of the air, by the way. But there's always intentionality in what I do. And there's intentionality.
Of course, it's the PID framework always. That's why you created it. You live it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's, but it will happen.
Exactly.
People will benefit from it. So yeah.
Absolutely. I saw it right away. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you for that. All right. It's time for us to do Mindset Bicycle, where you have 90 seconds to 100 seconds. Oh. Yeah. Would be great, right? I can't wait to see a 90-minute reel of all this wonderful Mindset Bicycle. We have some of the most powerful moments on every episode. to pour into someone that's listening to you right now who may be feeling stuck, overlooked, or they're just really needing a breakthrough today. I step away from the microphone and the camera, and you speak into the camera by yourself as if it were your last words to share with the world. What would you say to us? So here we go. I'm going to step away from the microphone and the camera, Rutherford.
What I want you to have with my 90 seconds, I want you to have that irrational belief in yourself. I want you to think about the things that you do are so important that you and you're the one that can do it and no one else can do this. The belief that what you're doing needs to be done, has to be done. You're the person that has to do it. And because it's going to make a great impact on other people, society as a whole. That mindset, that belief, that it has to be what I want you guys to think about. That irrational belief in yourself that you're going to do great things. If you believe that, it will happen. And if all of us always had this irrational belief, so many interesting things would happen in this world. So many great things would happen in this world because all of us are thinking in a really positive way. I can tell you because of this disruptor community, I know you guys are thinking in impossible ways. So what I want is for all of the things that are in your mind to come to fruition. What I want is every single thing that you believe to come to fruition. If that happens, we are going to be in a much, much better place. So have that irrational belief, take it, double down, triple down, put all your chips in the middle of the table. Let's go.
Let's go, disruptors. You heard it. That was really, really solid and motivating. I know someone is going to get a breakthrough out of that, Rutherford. So listen, everyone wants to know how they can dive some more into the PID system. Tell us how our listeners can stay connected with you, how to get your book, or just book you to speak or train their teams wherever they are.
So the book is on Amazon. So if you put my name in, it's funny, you put my name, Rutherford Pascal, right? If there is what's funny, when I put my name in to just check it out, there was a Pascal Rutherford with two other. I swear to God, it was showed my wife. It was funny. But so Rutherford Pascal and Amazon, and you will get the book. You also can go to my website is glasswallsleadership.com. If you want to communicate with me, it's Rutherford at Glasswalls Leadership. Right. So that's those are the things. Also, if you want to go on LinkedIn, same thing, Rutherford Pascal.
Yes, and of course, disruptors, we're going to have all of his information wherever you're watching or listening to this episode. It has just been such a remarkable conversation with you. It just goes by so quickly as we dive in. There's so much more. I'm sure you're going to be back on the podcast, and we're always here, not so far away with the Mindset Mastery 360 community, and we're all part of JMD, both international and the Arizona community for John Maxwell team. So guys, follow up and connect with Rutherford and check out the PID system. It really is a mindset shift in simplicity that you can really apply in your daily life as an individual and as a leader, as a business owner, as a professional, to help you level up and really, really get the goals that you're pursuing. Rutherford, anything that you would like to say?
Together up to
and by the way, the book is short. It's 70 pages of practical thing. This is not prose. I'm not telling the stories. I'm trying to be as practical to help you grow as much as possible. So you should get it done in under a couple hours for sure.
I agree. I started reading it just recently, and it's a fast read, but it's something you can go back and use as what I would say a handbook, and you can put down what it is that you're going to be working on to implement. The practicality of it is what I'm already really liking. And you all know I don't usually have a guest on here without reading even just a little bit of their book before we get on. And I do go back and finish what I start with the books. Sometimes I get them in Audible and sometimes they send me an ebook. Either way, one way or the other, I get to the book before the episode. And Pascal, Rutherford only give me 1 week. I didn't get 1 week. He gave me 5 days because lucky for him, so many people get on the podcast, it takes them 2 to 3 months before their date comes. He got on right when we changed the schedule, so we're so excited to bring this season with him in it, and we're happy to have him on the podcast and a part of the community. Welcome to the community. We don't let our guests go. You just become one of the thought leaders that we zone in to continue feeding from your well that you have, that you're walking in your purpose and performing and just delivering really mindset shifts. Today's conversation was definitely a wake-up call for anyone sitting on potential. Rutherford reminded us that preparation is power. Intentionality is where the influence is, and differentiation is the bridge to destiny, is what I would call it. Don't just blend in, elevate, connect with Rutherford, grab his book, The PID System, and remember, mastering your mindset is the key to mastering every moment and ultimately creating the life and legacy that you want. Until next time, Disruptors, this is Dr. Alisa and my guest co-host today, Rutherford Pascal, saying, we'll see you later. Keep mastering your mindset. Bye.